Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today I've got a great bit of content for you and I'm going to be sharing with you over 20 useful questions that you guys can use when you're talking to a prospect on the phone or face-to-face in a meeting in order to try and learn more about their business and get them to sign up and buy a website from you. So you'll see here that whenever you get onto a phone call with a prospect, you're not actually trying to sell them web design. You're going to be trying to sell them web design results. The thing is, business owners don't really care too much about how a website looks or whether it has the latest features or technology. All they really care about is how is that website going to fix the problems that they're having. So the aim of this meeting is to figure out what those problems are. So the questions that I'm going to share with you today are going to guide you through this process, the various steps that I take within my sales calls, and hopefully set you up for more success when you are trying to close clients. So guys, before we get into this, let me know down in the comments, what sort of questions do you ask when you are talking to a potential web design customer? I'd love to know the type of questions you're asking, so please do let me know down in the comments. Also, if you haven't done so already, hit the like button and please hit subscribe. I would really appreciate it. Now, without further ado, let's dive in. So, why do these questions matter? Well, essentially, the questions are here designed to help you figure out what the challenges and problems are of a business owner, figure out what their goals are, and then you can essentially deliver a solution to them by way of a website. So it's a really super important process that we're about to run through. Customers need to base their buying decision on a solution to their problems. So again, really important there. They need to base their buying decisions on the solution to a problem that they're having, not the fact that their website is going to be following the latest trends and that sort of thing. It needs to be fixing real world problems. So first things first, when you get on a call with a prospect, you need to build that rapport. Just a little bit of backwards and forwards chat, and there's a couple of questions there that you can help you build that rapport and look like an authority. So first off is, how did you hear about us? It's always really useful to know as business owners or web designers how they got in touch and where they heard about you. It might be that you got in touch with them, and you know what, that doesn't matter, still ask the question because it again makes you look like an authoritative figure. So here is a big question here. You always have to ask for permission in order to ask them questions about their business. You know, you're going to be diving a lot more into their business, their goals, their challenges, so you need to ask permission for that. So just ask a question. Do you mind if I ask you some questions about your business? They are essentially going to say yes. So this then moves us on to gathering information, or gathering intelligence is another way that you can put it. And this is basically going to focus on gathering all the information that you need in order to then come back to them later on in the call and say, this is how I can help you. So first question, can you give me a quick overview of your business? Now, you might already know a little bit about what they do as a business, but it's always nice to hear it from the person. And again, it kind of helps with that whole rapport building. You are showing that initial interest and it allows them to talk and just share more information about the business that you are going to find useful. Now, I just want to say that when you are asking any of these questions, make sure that you are taking notes and actively listen. Actively listen and take notes to as many key points that you possibly can think of that you think a website is going to be able to help them solve. Next, what challenges are you facing at the moment? Again, super important. You know, the chances are they are facing challenges, which is why they have got on a call with you in the first place, because they see you as a solution to what problems they might be facing. So you need to understand what those problems are. So just ask the question, what problems are you facing? It might be that they are struggling with finding new business. It might be that people don't know where they're located, or it might be that they're getting bombarded with calls and emails of potential customers asking them questions, and that takes up a lot of their time. So, you know, a solution to that challenge might be, well, FAQs on a website would remedy the need for people to contact them and spend time in that respect. So you need to be focusing and listening on what the challenges are, and then again, later down the line, you can find out what solutions are available in the way of a website. Ask them what their goals are for this year. You know, this is going to give you a good idea of where they are looking to take their business over the next 12 months. Ask them how they are currently generating their business, or how they're currently generating customers. It might be that a lot of customers are generated by word of mouth, and if that's the case, there's a huge opportunity for them to start generating more customers by their website. ask them what they're pricing at on average. For example, if they are an online store, they might have an average order value of say like $50, and that's going to give you a pretty good idea of how many orders would be placed in order to get the return on investment for a website. Or if they are a service-based business and each customer is going to be $5,000-$10,000 maybe, then that's going to give you an idea of, again, how valuable this website is going to be. You could also ask the question here of how many customers that they are getting each month, and then that's going to give you an idea of how much they are receiving in revenue per month based on their average price. So again, really useful information to you when you do come to formulate the pricing for their website based on how valuable this website is going to be for them. So dive in a little bit into the sales process now. So you kind of want to see if there's anything that they could be doing better with their sales process. Do they think that there's anything better that they could be doing? That's again really useful, because you might be delivering them a really good website that ticks all of the boxes and fixes a bunch of solutions, but if their internal sales process is shit, then you may struggle with justifying the value of the website if their sales process is shit. So just figure that out, and you might have some tips and advice on how they can be doing things better. So it's always valuable again to ask that question. Now here's a big one. Who are their biggest competitors? Now this is going to give you an insight as to their business on a deeper level. It's going to give you an idea of who their competitors are, of course, and it allows you to then see how those competitors compare to this business. So the next question focuses on, why would people choose you over your competitors? This allows the business to talk about themselves in a positive state, and it allows you to understand, well, what are the positive points of this business that you are currently trying to help. You could also flip this question and ask why their potential customers may go to their competitors over them, and that might then allow them to highlight some of the more negative areas of the business, which again is really useful to have. So once you've gathered all of that information, make sure you've made a note of it and you've written it down, because you're going to want to come back to this intelligence later. But if you are struggling at any point to sort of get this information out of the business owner, I've got a section here which is basically focusing on diving deeper. Now I had someone reach out on Facebook the other day and sort of said, well, how do you deal with a customer that just doesn't really give you any sort of return on your questions, and you're not really being able to gather the type of information that you would need in order to portray the value a website can have towards a business. So I've got some questions here that are going to allow you to draw out that extra bit of information from the people that you are talking to. Once they've given you an answer to a question, maybe ask them, well, why do they think that is? Because it's going to allow them to talk a little bit more and maybe share more information on perhaps a personal level, and just give you a real solid, no bullshit answer to how they currently think their business is currently situated. You can ask them, what exactly does that mean once they've answered the question. So for example, if they said that the business isn't generating the type of sales that it used to, ask them, what does that mean? They might then start diving a little bit more into figures, and again, that's useful information to you. Ask them, how is this impacting your business? Now, the bottom line is, business owners are on a level emotionally attached to their business, so this might allow you to get more of a emotional response from them, and you can make notes and again come back to this later by telling them that a website is going to resolve X, Y, and Z. Tell me, where would you like to be? This is super important, because this is going to allow you again to understand where they're looking to go, where they want to be, and basically what would things look like if all of their problems were fixed. So again, really important. This then moves us on to, if all your problems were fixed, how would that look? And this is going to allow them to paint you a very clear picture of what they would like things to be like. And this is great, because if you write this down and then you come back to this later and say, well, a website is going to allow you to get to where you want to be by doing X, Y, and Z, then again, that's going to be really useful. So for example, if a business is currently generating, over $100,000 a year, but actually they want to be hitting $250,000 a year, then a new e-commerce store that's going to allow them to trade online is going to put them closer to where they want to be. Now, similar question to what we had earlier, what would that mean for your business, or what would that mean for you? And this kind of touches again on a personal, emotional level. Now, having a business is stressful, and if you're going to deliver a solution to a business owner that is perhaps let's say, for example, going to free up a lot of their time, that means that they now have time to either focus on the business, do hobbies that they enjoy, and spend time with their family, which in itself is invaluable. So don't be afraid to try and deep dive and get a more personal, emotional response from a business, because that is where you are going to start seeing better results. So here we've got recapping intelligence. So this is the part of the meeting where basically you just go over everything that you've written down so far. So based on the conversation you've just had with the business owner, you want to just reiterate everything that they've said. So for example, you could say, look, I can see that you're already generating $100,000 per month, but you want to be at $250,000. However, you haven't really got the time to be building your own website and your own e-commerce store in order for you to get to where you want to be. Also, you are struggling to generate business, and actually as a result, you've had to let 2 members of your staff go, which isn't ideal, and you need to fix this. So again, this is just an example of maybe how a conversation went, but you would have your information gathered on your sheet of paper or in your notebook. Once you've reiterated everything that you've spoken about, you want to say, does that sound right? And hopefully you want them to agree. If not, then just go back over and loop back and ask some of the same questions again and get them to share a bit more information with you. And once you've done that, ask them again, does that sound right? And once they say yes, that is great, because that now allows you to move on to the next step. So the next step is going to be recapping the value. So based on the example that I've just given, if they are struggling to generate business and they're having staffing issues, but they haven't really got the time and expertise to build that e-commerce store that's going to allow them to go from $100,000 to $100,000 per month to $250,000 per month and beyond, then this is how a website can be valuable. A new e-commerce store is not only going to allow them to start trading online and giving customers a fantastic user experience where they can add products to their basket and purchase them effortlessly, but also a new website is perhaps going to position them a lot better in the market and put them in line with their competition, where perhaps previously they were losing a lot of their customers to, because they had a much better looking website and a much better functional website. So there'll be a few different ways that a website can actually benefit a business, but this is the part of the meeting where you want to sort of reiterate the value that a new website could have in helping them solve their problems that you've already discussed previously in this meeting. So what do we do moving forwards? You want to ask the question, how soon would you be looking to get your problems fixed? So this is great because essentially you want them to say right away, and that tells you that they understand how having a website is going to fix their problems, and they're pretty much sold. Also, I found that this question is great because if for whatever reason you step away from the call having not closed the deal and you come back to them and they then say, now's not the right time, which is a common objection, then you can just be like, well, the last time we spoke you said you were looking to get started right away, what's changed? So I really like asking this question. I think you're going to really enjoy asking it as well. Now moving on to pricing. A lot of people don't like talking about this, but I think it definitely comes down to how you frame the question. So what I like to do is just say, do you have a budget set aside for something like this? And this is going to allow 2 things to happen. One, it's going to give you an idea of the type of funds that they have to work with within their marketing budget. And 2, if they have a super low budget, it's going to allow you to sort of whittle them out and perhaps close a conversation and say, look, we're probably not a good fit. So yeah, it's definitely a super useful question to ask. Now finally, before you close the call, you want to ask, do you have any concerns about a new website? And this is going to allow you to work out whether they do have any concerns or whether there's any problems, or sort of iron out any potential hiccups that might crop up in the future. And it allows you to put their mind at ease with any concerns that they have. And once you do that, it's going to be a lot easier for you to get a yes from them. And finally, ask them, do they have any questions? This now allows them to ask you any questions, and by the time you reach this point in the meeting, if you've done everything else previously, they might not have any questions. 9 times out of 10 they don't actually ask me any questions. If I've got to this point and I haven't spoken about pricing and I ask if they've got any questions, it will be, okay, what's the price? But aside from that, they tend to not have any questions. And finally, get going. So hopefully you found those questions really useful. I like using these within all of my sales calls. And now I want to be clear, I don't often use all of them, but I've given you a range there for you to just take the ones that you're going to feel most comfortable using. But make sure that you are gathering the right information. You are managing to figure out what problems a business is having and basically what their goals are and where they're looking to go, because that's going to allow you to come up with a solution to help them with their challenges, help them with the problems, and help them get to the location that they want to be within their business. So before we go, guys, I just wanted to say that over 80% of you have not yet subscribed to my channel, so make sure that you hit that subscribe button, hit the thumbs up if you found this really useful as well. And if you want to be a part of the new Facebook group, which is a bunch of like-minded people just sharing some of their problems, getting tips and advice on how they can improve their web design business and improve their web design game, then hit the link below. That will allow you to get access. There are a few questions that you need to answer, and I need to stress, you need to answer all of them, else you're just not going to get access to the group. It's a pretty exclusive group. I'm not just letting anyone in, so if you want to be a part of that, go and sign up, answer all the questions, and I'll let you in, and I'll see you on the other side. So that's all I've got for you today, guys. There's going to be more content coming up on the end screen that you're going to find valuable, so stick around, click on one of those, and I will see you in the next video.